with a wish for all beings to be free, free of the constriction and contraction of held belief systems and thought patterns, free of the automatic reactivity of learned and held emotional patterns, and free of the isolation and suffering of distorted perception. I will always go for refuge to alive, vibrant, radiant, spacious awareness until awareness is ongoing, like the flow of a river. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the presence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of any lineage or none, and or any time or beyond time, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all beings. As long as space remains, as long as beings remain, may I manifest in such a way to ease and dispel the miseries in the universe. I'd like to add, good. Are you settling in, Victoria? I like to add every now and then that part of that refuge is from what I was told the Dalai Lama says every day. And it does say, with a wish for all beings to be free. And I like to remind everybody, we are part of all beings. It isn't all beings out there. It's all beings. And the end part where I say, the Dalai Lama once says, as long as there, I'm going to try to remember exactly, as long as there is space, as long as there are sentient beings, may I manifest in such a way to dispel the miseries in the world. So it can be very personal how you would like to manifest. It may occur this lifetime, it may occur next lifetime, it may occur in various lifetimes that you happen to be reborn in, all at the same time, who knows? So if it is helpful to you to make it be a little more personal, please feel free to do that. There was one Lama that I knew that set her intention to be reborn as three different beings, all human. One as a teacher, one as an athlete, to have a body of an athlete, and one I believe was an artist. And she made this wish with the intention to be of benefit in those manifestations. So, and whatever you say can change. There isn't a rule about what you have to say. The only rule I know is that we do set an intention that whatever we're doing be of benefit to somebody, somewhere, sometime. That we are not just practicing to get something for ourselves. It doesn't mean that things may not happen for you, but there's something kind of wonderful about not investing our own personal achievement or goals on practice. Many more things will open much more freely, in my experience. for what I've been told about Tibetan culture. It is very important to have the same thing, to have it be approved as a text or by the Dalai Lama, somebody of import, and to say that exactly over and over and over again. So that is how some of this has come to us, that we should take refuge this way and we should say these words. And if that is meaningful for you, that is wonderful. And it certainly will do no harm. But you may find that you are finding refuge in a way that expresses itself a little differently for you. And you may start to realize that most of us are very self-centered. I don't mean selfish. I mean, we see everything through our eyes and how it affects us. And that is a shocking thing to notice if you haven't noticed it yet. And you have told yourself what a generous, giving, wonderful person you are. So it can be a little uncomfortable. And you may be a very loving, generous, kind person, but not from thinking it. So the intention for Bodhicitta is the intention to recognize the lack of individual, independent, arising self. Oh, hi, Phoenix is here to visit again. Nice to have you. And we have some kitty cats that wander through. I've seen one today. And yes, I do tend to digress. But what makes you think that Chenrezig is not manifesting in one of the animals that comes, and that energy of open-heartedness isn't being shared right here? Here's another fun one. If time is a little wonky, which we've all noticed, you've all noticed that sometimes time seems to be going so fast, and sometimes time seems to be so slow. And really, all it is a concept lie put on experience in a way to make our lives be able to make appointments, as far as I can figure out, and be on time for things and worry and stress if we're not on time for things. Where did I go with that? Uh, what makes you think our practice today isn't what had the effect beyond time of allowing the manifestation of Chenrezig? Isn't that fun? We just don't really know. And if you've ever seen the movie, which is not for everybody, but I enjoyed it, Everything, Everywhere, All the Time, there's science that points at the potential not only of many universes occurring at the same time in slightly different, I don't know what the word would be. We can ask Javaria sometime. But that all time of all, from beginning to end, if there is such a thing, is actually all occurring in this moment. What? I like those kinds of things. It makes my tight little mind either go, oh, or, ooh, cool, depending on my mood. Not saying anything is real or unreal here. I find that exhausting to try to find a real reality. Finally, I find it exhausting. I spent most of my life trying to find the real reality. It is exhausting. So that all started with, if there's something that you find that you do take refuge in, even if you can't name it, or you're more comfortable with a traditional refuge in Bodhicitta, intention, Manlam, intention path, give yourself some freedom. You can always change it. But the importance, as I said, is in opening our practice for the benefit of all beings, not I want to get something out of this. Ironically, it's the I wanting to get something out of this that keeps us from being able to open in practice. Well, this one isn't working. I don't feel any better at all. Stupid practice. No, not really. Okay. I promised you this week, and it feels kind of right to be a little more traditional in the practice. We sometimes wander in different directions. Everybody up for a more traditional one? At least that we start that way? Good. And as we start, because I won't remember to say it at the end, you know how many of us have made fun of people who go to church and they say all these wonderful things and have all these wonderful intentions. Everybody's polite, and the church ladies come and greet you if you're new. And if you're like me, it's like, oh God, I don't go to church very often, if at all. But the times when I was younger, a kid, when I was taken, those church ladies just gave me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know how that translates, but made me very uncomfortable because they were all so nice. Oh, we're so happy to have you here. I'm like, oh, leave me alone. Don't pinch my cheek, um, kid. And it's true everywhere. When we do a practice or we go to a teaching and we get some inspiration or some opening or something occurs, and we try to make that experience happen again. And maybe we do it sitting on the cushion. Or maybe we keep going back and we've had this teaching, but we're not sure that we're able to do the teaching the way it's taught. So we just keep going back, trying to get the same teaching again and again and again, which is fine. If you have a chance, there's a book called The Buddha's Lions, I believe. And it has, I think, 100 stories of olden days of people that recognized their enlightened mind. And in that time, you were lucky to have one teacher come through. There was no internet. There was, of course. You might run into one teacher and you might get one teaching. And one of the things I love about that book is I think these 100 beings were very ripe and ready, but they got the teaching. And many of them never saw a teacher again. And they simply followed the directions that they were given. It actually makes very little difference what practice you do. If you follow the directions and do it to the best of your ability, it will lead you where you need to go. And they trusted that. So they're wonderful stories of people from all different kinds of backgrounds, lives, some working, some not working, male, female. There are even females in there. Isn't that amazing? Uh, so anyway, it's called Buddha's Lions. So why I was leading to that is we get to sit together and often it feels good. It kind of opens. I don't know what it does, but it's nice to be here together for most of us. And then perhaps we go back to our habitual selves, um, probably most of the time. But this practice can be taken out into everyday life. And it's important that it gets taken out into everyday life. Perhaps not with a visualization while you're driving, um, but opening your vision, your hearing, your six senses, allowing them to open. You actually might feel that this is dangerous because you're more open. You're more likely to get hurt, which is what we often feel, somewhat protective, yes? But you actually will probably find you're actually far more aware and notice far more going on around you. And that, anyway, I think next week, if I remember and it comes up, there is a small text on taking this out into everyday life. So I will try to remember, or you can remind me. And if I have that book, I'll share it with you. Today, and how you come about this is different for almost all of us. It's suggested that we can try to remember a time when we either felt utter open-heartedness, open-mindedness, that waft of warmth, the sensation, which we generally immediately attach to the stimulus that caused that to occur. But it does not have to be attached. When it arises, if you can rest with open awareness right there, it's everywhere all the time. Everything can be the stimulus when perceived with presence. These words don't always work. Everything, every being, everything we see, hear, feel, touch, smell, taste, did I do them all? Has the potential to be the stimulus, a stimulus to opening that incredible sensation. Remember the first time you fell in love? Oh my God. Or the second or the third or the fourth, depending. If you didn't get cynical after the fourth or fifth or sixth. It's a wonderful feeling. What if that sensation is, I don't want to say available, the potential is there. It is the nature of Sambhogakaya, the alive awareness of all beings, which allows the manifestation of life. So it probably much has to be present in every being all the time. As we try to feel around for that sensation, Lama Lena talks about a kitten or a puppy. I can bring that out. It's not a feeling of compassion or separation. It actually, for most of us, is an experience when we don't mess with it and try to attach it, that has very little duality in it. It's very open. Then we grasp it because we like it. But before we grasp it, if we can just be present with open awareness, big mind it's sometimes called. Sem is called little mind, translates, and Semyi, I believe, is called big mind, the mind that's not so busy looking out our eyes, describing everything to ourselves. Right there. Right there. And we may have a memory of that we can call up. Maybe you had a grandmother, sometimes a grandparent. It's easier to have a relationship with where you just feel utterly loved and cared for unconditionally. They just love you. It actually makes absolutely no difference whether you remember being utterly loved unconditionally or whether you remember or call up a moment when you felt that way towards someone that you attached it to. Almost everyone has had at least a moment of that experience, that sensation. We can try to describe it, but there really aren't words for it. Warmth, openness, everything's okay. The world is grand. I don't know. I don't want to squish it in any way. If there isn't an experience that you can remember, we can just imagine feeling that way. And as we rest into that sensation or feeling, we visualize 1,000-petaled lotus made of light in our heart chakra. Please don't stress about where the heart chakra is. It's where that warm feeling may feel like it arises. And sometimes that may feel like your whole being and not even limited to your being. So it's not so very important to try to locate and explain. Just resting into the feeling, whether it's imaginary or a remembrance, and allowing it to water that lotus of light in your heart chakra, 1,000 petals. And I'll pause every now and then, maybe, so you can actually rest in that experience. Most of us, by habit and self-protectiveness, not wrong, tend to keep our lotus or heart somewhat closed, very much by habit and instinct. And with this feeding or nurturing with open-hearted love, unconditional love, if you want, the lotus relaxes enough to open into its full bloom, its actual natural state. We could rest right there. Maybe slowly allowing our awareness to notice the relaxation that may arise, not forcing it, not trying to make it happen. And at the center of that lotus made of light, there are 6 petals made of different colors. On each of them sits a seed syllable, which you can Google and find all kinds of explanations. Today we'll just say they represent the 6 realms of existence. They're different colored light. These seed syllables sit one on each of the 6 inner petals. And they are the syllables of the mantra of the very open-heartedness we're resting in, called Chenrezig's mantra. Traditionally, I say it and you repeat after me. We'll do it together 3 times. And it goes like this. If you pronounce some of the syllables differently, that's absolutely fine. Mantra goes Om, Ma, Ni, Pe, Me, Hung. Om, Mani, Peme, Hung. And the 3rd time, Notice the sensation of the sound arising, maybe from deep in your body. You can feel the vibration of it throughout the body, coming up through the heart, through the speech chakra, out the mouth, or you can imagine it coming out the crown chakra also, out into the universe. Say it for the third time. Om Mani Padme Hung. Just practicing with that mantra, singing it out to the trees if you want, is very powerful because it's been used for hundreds and hundreds of years as the sound of that open-hearted, unconditional presence. And as you feel it arising through your body, it's suggested that you continue to say it through this practice. Om Mani Padme Hum, at whatever speed is comfortable for you. As you're resting in the saying of that, and you notice the vibration of the sound coming through your body, and you notice that you hear the sound, feel around for where you hear the sound. Are you hearing it inside yourself? Are you hearing it through your ear organ? Where's the vibration of it? Is it limited to inside your body? Or can you feel it outside your body? Or neither or both? Where does the inside end? Where does the outside begin? It's a wonderful practice in and of itself. And as we say the mantra, if you have a mala, feel free to move a bead on the mala for every time you say the mantra. It is said to hold the energy of the very thing we're talking about, that open-hearted presence. True bodhisattva, actually. As you say the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hung, the inner 6 petals of different lights start to bend, spin, and blend together. And as they represent all the light in the universe, when all light comes together, it becomes white light, not like a spotlight, a laser beam, but a vibrant, alive, warm light. You could even say sparkly. It's in your pocket? Uh-huh. Thanks. And as that light fills those 6 petals, they elongate naturally into rays of that warm white light. And those rays fill the entire 1,000 petals of the lotus, allowing those petals to extend into rays of that warm, vibrant white light. And they radiate naturally out into the universe, touching the heart, the lotus, of 1,000 beings. No limitation in space, as far as your imagination reaches. rays of those thousand rays can reach beyond the edge of the universe, into the multiverse. No limitation. No limitation in size or what the rays may touch. Micro, the tiniest of cells in your body, to things that are so large we cannot perceive them with our eyes. From the grasshopper to the gorilla. Some days you may want to allow the rays to touch a particular group of beings, perhaps beings suffering in war, or maybe in the different realms, maybe the hungry ghost realm. Whatever you're, or just generally touching 1,000 beings of any kind, allowing their hearts to relax. Open into its natural essence. And the same thing happens in their heart, their lotus. The inner petals spin. The white light fills all of the 1,000 petals till there are 1,000 rays of light radiating out into the universe, some of which come back and touch your heart, refilling your lotus again and again. Not with the humanness, our human nature of all the blah that we have, thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. We are able to totally relax. All of that falls away into the true essence of who you are. All beings are. Some days we may be unable to generate any kind of a sense of open-heartedness. We could still do this practice by making an intention of offering the best we can in light rays to 1,000 Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of any time as an offering, and receiving the blessing of their rays back into our heart. Allow yourself to be where you are in this day, in this moment. The rays carry the sound, the vibration of the mantra. So sound, rays, and light, described as the origin of all life. We can rest here, allowing it to naturally extend into another 1,000 beings, allowing 1,000 rays to touch beings, allowing their hearts to relax completely into their true essence, dropping the protectedness, dropping the thoughts, feelings, and perceptions that hold us prisoner. Now we have 1,000 beings. 1,000 rays of light. Radiating, interconnecting your visual perhaps with the image like a web. I think they're beautiful pictures of Indra's web that you can find. or imagine your own. And where these rays intersect, there's a little node, our little node, always telling us that we're individual. And yet we can rest into the actual interconnectedness of life. Life affecting life. Has a fancy name, Nirmanakaya. It may occur to rest into that web as part of that web. Refuge. The display of the alive awareness of all beings. You might have a sensation arise of great, not pity, actual compassion, not an emotion, but an isness of how few of us experience this interconnectedness. How very much most of us can feel lonely, isolated, not connected at all. And it may cause an opening, gentle opening of our hearts. May all beings have this experience at least for a moment. If you choose to do this practice on your own, you can rest in your own time, in your own way, for as long as you want. Today we'll allow those light rays to continue to touch beings, carrying the sound and the vibration of the mantra. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 rays of light touching 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 beings. All of them interacting the true essence, open-hearted, loving presence, until there is no thing but light. Infinite rays touching infinite beings. Nothing but light. No duality. We're not looking at the light. We are the light. Always have been. Refuge has a fancy name, Sambhogakaya, aspect of heart-mind. If you are lucky enough to fall into light, there is no you to notice that. Many things will arise. Awareness, very present, big awareness, not limited by self-focus. Where termas arise from, where omniscience may arise from. Perhaps the term individual omniscience is an oxymoron. Doesn't exist. Omniscience from the experience of life force energy, light. The display of that energy, potentiated, is the creativity of manifestation. Anything and everything may arise. If you fall in, please do not worry. Well, you won't when you fall in. You will regain your individual perception, your individual form. You'll have to pee, you'll have to answer the phone, you'll have to get hungry. We are in form. We're not trying to get rid of form. We're just allowing our awareness to expand beyond the limitation of self-focused form. There may be awareness of as other forms. It's an utterly timeless quality. The conceptual world drops away for a time. There's no describer. Who would there be to describe? All light. Refuge. All of our experiences that we describe to ourselves, falling away because they're all based on concept. We can't make this happen. And when we put our form back together again, our bilblah of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions as this form experiences them, that is when we will notice and start describing something to ourselves. What happened? What time is it? How long passed? What the heck? It isn't to exclude form or manifestation or escape from manifestation. What we do is try to set the cause and condition for this aspect of heart-mind that most of us have never experienced to arise. Every form, every being is that light displayed. Oh, we make a fine mess of it with our Bill Blahs, don't we? Because we don't recognize experientially the connectedness of all life. So we're not going to deny to ourselves that we sometimes feel lonely. But when we fall into as the web of connection, as the light from which all manifestation arises, the concept of loneliness. Remember, I've talked about the isolation of distorted perception. If we experience what we're sharing today, even for an instant, there may be a knowing that loneliness may arise, but it is an illusion from distorted perception, a painful one at that. We are that life, potential, light, brightness, awareness. Traditionally, although I will always say the three aspects, three kayas, cannot ever be separate. Or where could the light radiate, the life force? The words really can't touch it. If there was no spaciousness, so at this point, traditionally, we would call back all the rays of light. However you feel it, you may feel like you're calling all the rays that you sent out, your 1,000 rays, back into your heart. You may experience it as all the rays that came together to be the light, including this form. All of the rays separating back out and coming back into our heart chakra. However that arises, and it may change for you, let it be as it is. The rays come back into the heart chakra, the lotus. The very center of the lotus has a very small seed syllable, yet again, a symbol of the open-hearted presence. It's called Hri, H-R-I, a symbol of Chenrezig, who is also a symbol of open-heartedness. All the light compacts so tightly back into that tiny free in the center of the lotus. All of it until in an instant, the free dissolves. And you are this spacious, vast, timeless aspect of heart-mind. Dharmakaya is the fancy name. Beyond time, beyond duality, beyond reference points, no up, no down, no past, no future, no good, no bad, nothing to hold on to, no ability to grasp anything, manipulate anything, change anything. No beginning, no end. And you are this. It is impossible to describe, but everybody tries. Great Mother Dharmakaya, ground of mind, all kinds of words, useless. No thing, but not empty in the sense of dead or void. Never. You are this. It is the dance of Sambhogakaya awareness, permeating Dharmakaya spaciousness beyond time and space. That dance displays manifestation. The three kayas are utterly dependent on each other. You are the ocean or the sky. You are the clouds or the wave. And you are the awareness that sees both, experiences both. Pretty big refuge. Middle way, this path is called. If you fall too far into any one aspect, you run the risk of falling into nihilism. Nothing matters, nothing really exists. Doesn't matter what I do. It's all just spaciousness. But it's permeated with life force. dancing, never separate. Where true bodhicitta arises as isness, not as, oh, I have compassion for you. Not an emotion. Emotions come and go. Bodhicitta, recognized, does not come and go. And there we are, popping up like little waves, quite sure that we are unique, independent, and individual. Instinct. You can't fight it. From the day we were born, we try to survive. Yes? We are not going to survive in this form. We can't even survive over a lifetime in one form. We actually can't survive even for a moment in one form. Your thoughts change. Our reactive feelings go crazy sometimes. What doesn't change? Refuge. What doesn't die? What was never born? When a leaf falls off the tree in the fall, all the leaves fall off. When one leaf falls off, we say, oh, it's died. Has it? Or will it simply take another form as that form dissolves, perhaps nourishing the earth so that more things can manifest and grow? When was the leaf born? When does it die? Pretty cool refuge. In my experience, cannot be understood in conceptual, intellectual thinking. Simply, we rest again and again in experiential awareness. Until even the slightest stickiness of concept of what that is falls away. Can't make that happen. The happy accident, as Lama Lena says, of recognizing enlightenment. Just simply recognizing what is. So simple, yes? Can be. For most of us, not so much. Can you imagine for a moment if we didn't imagine for yourself, I'll imagine for myself. If I did not get caught up in thought patterns and belief systems, oh, they might arise. Thoughts will arise. We're alive. Perhaps we would experience, not perceive, experiencing thoughts arising, hello, as the dance of aliveness. Like that, even upside down. Don't need to get rid of one, grab on to others. Nothing to figure out. Our little one in here would have no idea how to explain a concept. She's almost young enough, I think, not to really have concepts of past, future, self-protectiveness. It's kind of instinctual. We learned it. Can you imagine all the reactive emotions? Oh, I'm so angry because they blah, 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 blah. Oh, that wasn't right, blah, 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 blah. What if those started to unravel and we experienced every moment freshly without the conditioning laid on top of it? Phew. And if both of those things occurred, how would we perceive? Or is there's still going to be our six senses, yes? We can imagine. We've all had moments of this. And then we grab, don't we? It's okay. We just keep doing it. We're practicing. What if there really is nothing to get? You already are everything. Cool. Thank you all for being here today. I'll leave you right where you might be, where we might all be together. I appreciate your being here so that this arises. Whatever openness or moment of relaxation or anything else that might be of benefit arose by our time together. May we not grasp or push away or try to figure out or try to manipulate or fix or anything else, but simply let that moment naturally as it will radiate out into the universe, touching all beings. May all beings have such opportunity. May all beings be free. Such a privilege to be with you. Thank you very much.